Margarita's life is like what I had here, a paradise, relaxed. Caracas is stressful.
What's the average cost of living on the island? I mean, how much does a person spend on groceries, on, I don't know, cell phone, internet, stuff like that, and maybe some extra expenses? And how much can a person spend on rent, for example, in Pampatar? Is it safe to come to Margarita, Cecilio? Do you see yourself here in the future? Good morning, and with one leg almost out of commission, I welcome you to a new video. What do you like the most? You know, this is the video you like the most, right? What is life like in the places we visit? And it's about interviewing local people from different fields. Right now, for example, we'll ask Oscar from the Moya brothers, but I'm also going to ask the fishermen, the people who sell things on the beach, and our friends. So you can get an idea of what life is like in Margarita, the different possibilities, the different jobs, the cost of living, and everything you need to know. If one day you decide to live the Margarita dream, to come live in the Pearl of the Caribbean. So keep watching because this video is going to be very, very interesting. Look at this beauty that Oscar from the Moya brothers just brought me. We've already been coming here to eat for 3 days in a row, and honestly, my stomach can't handle another arepa, even though they're so delicious. So he makes me a little omelet with egg, cheese, and avocado so I don't eat carbs. Thank you, Oscar.
With fried plantains and pecorino cheese, well,
There I have the carbs with the fried plantains, but fried plantains are better than arepa. Look, Oscar, tell me something. What's life like in Margarita? Describe it to me briefly.
look, this is another country, man. Life in Margarita is great because you work and enjoy yourself at the same time.
I've never come to the Moya brothers' place without seeing you here at the restaurant. Do you really enjoy working in the business?
For me, this isn't a job, this is passion, this is my life, man.
It's impressive that nearly your whole family is here with you at the front.
Well, right now, out of the 28 people who make up Hermanos Moya, 18 of us are brothers, children, and nephews. And on the 17th of this month, we'll celebrate 52 years. I started at 8 years old with my parents.
If someone wanted to come live in Margarita, what would you tell them? What advice would you give them?
Look, Margarita isn't easy to work in because you have to be very organized. If you're coming here to start a business, you have to keep in mind that Margarita only has 3 or 4 seasons. Many businesses open and close because people see a seasonal boom in restaurants or stores and think, I'll open a business in Margarita. No, it's not like that. You have to learn to live through the 3 or 4 seasons that the island has.
And outside of work, what would you recommend for life in Margarita?
Look, do what I do when I'm not working. I go to Playa Lagua, I walk around, I enjoy it. This island is magical.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
I also want to ask for advice. What advice would you give us for working with family? Because many times people say that it's not easy to work with family members, but you don't work with just 1 or 2, but with 10, 17, 18.
Working with family isn't easy. You need the right mindset, like us. I can argue with my brother, and 10 minutes later, it's as if nothing happened. Business comes first because if it fails, many people's livelihoods are at risk.
Of course, you're amazing. Thank you so much, Oscar. Really, it's a pleasure to come here, Moya brothers.
Every time we come to the island,
Thank you.
And by the way, they're not just working as a family, they're some of the most innovative people I've ever met. Because most people who open an arepa shop on the island say, I want to have the best shredded beef or I want to have the best pork, but they decided to innovate. And I know that if you've seen our videos, well, from a couple of years ago in Margarita, you might know the story and everything else, but to make a long story short, they add pecorino cheese.
Mine has chicken, avocado, and pecorino cheese. I can't even explain it. In the previous days, I had eaten pork, avocado, and pecorino cheese.
You have to answer a question that a lot of people are asking, and they asked us on Instagram, why don't you eat seafood? We love it.
Honestly, I don't really love them. I don't enjoy them that much, but here you can find everything. You can get your seafood, but you can also find other things.
Check out how tasty that pecorino cheese looks. We're celebrating today, though it won't feel the same when you see this video. But today, specifically, which is September 13th, even though it's not always September 13th, right?
Saturday in September?
Second Saturday of September, World Arepa Day, because arepa is...
The best thing that has ever happened to us.
Venezuelan, my love?
For me,
World Arepa Day is every day for me. That's just how it is, obviously. Enjoy your meal. And if you're wondering, the arepas here from the Moya brothers cost $6. And if you come, don't forget to buy this delicacy, which is a mango hot sauce. I swear it's my favorite hot sauce because it's spicy. I mean, it's not mild, but the flavor it has, oh, the mango with the chili. Margarita, well, we're leaving. Let's keep exploring. Okay, look at this. How fancy. They bring you to the beach in golf carts. We're at Playa del Agua, where we're going to spend the day today. Even though the weather is a little cloudy, it's nice. I mean, there are quite a few clouds. It's not like the sun is shining at its brightest, but this is the Agua Dulce Beach Club, which we just left back there. And well, there are many hotels that offer you the service of taking you to the beach and picking you up. We prefer, since we have all the beach toys, to go to the end where no one says anything to us. If you set up near a beach club, they'll say you can't open your umbrella there. So do we have to go to the end of the beach or between one club and another? Yesterday, for example, when we went to Parguito, we were between one club and another. No, we didn't have to go to the end of the beach, but we were a little bit separated because you have to bring your chair, your umbrella, your cooler.
you're not going to buy anything, and that's what they require from you.
But the nice thing about Playa del Agua is that there are endless trees, palm trees, everything, where we can hang our hammocks. Look over here, little hammock, our canopy. No, it's a delight. Look, we finally stopped there. We have practically all this space just for us. A few palm trees to hang the hammocks. A spectacular spot to set up the canopy. The little girl even brought a candle to the beach. Hold on.
But it's a citronella candle.
A candle for the beach during the day.
It's a candle to repel mosquitoes.
Imagine, that could be a saying more useless than a candle on the beach.
No, it's for repelling mosquitoes. I only light it at sunset, not now.
No, it's true. The other evening we came and it looked nice. The candle was romantic. Besides, we have some little lights that we hang between the palm trees and it looks really, really nice. We'll show you when everything is set up. This is how our little spot turned out. The hammock there, the canopy there, the little bed, the chairs, the towel. By the way, for those watching this video, you're getting an exclusive preview because that's one of the new towel designs. Yeah, I still speed up. What do you think?
Well, I wouldn't want that to come out just yet.
Well, Valerie didn't like that coming out because there's competition.
Brothers,
There's competition, brothers.
I think what we're releasing is innovative. Yeah, so I don't want it to get into the hands of someone who wants to.
Oops, I'm sorry, I wanted to show it, but the boss is the one in charge. Here, a man came to our little stand to offer us the others. Where do they get these others from, boss? Women gather these in the Restinga Lagoon mangroves, collect them and sell them. That's correct. It's teamwork, of course. Let's try it to see if it's good. It's a work of unity. Look, I'm a fan of the other little ones. I don't like those big oysters that you have to chew like that just to be able to digest them. And they're tasteless, just tasteless.
Exactly, because there are others that are farm-raised, but they're not like the natural ones. The natural ones have more flavor, a unique flavor.
This one's really good. What was your name again, brother?
Cecilio,
Cecilio?
how can I help you?
Are you from here, from Margarita?
Yes, from Porlamar on Terra Nova Avenue.
If I have to ask you, in a few words, what is life like in Margarita? How would you describe it?
Life in Margarita? It's like what I have here, a relaxed paradise. Caracas is stressful.
I agree with you, and I'm from Caracas.
Better. Margarita, yes.
I agree. Thank you, Margarita.
To this universe, this paradise.
Cecilio, a question. Do you work every month, every day of the year, or do you work seasonally?
All year round.
Year round? Do people at the beach buy your oysters? Yes.
But the season has been slow and not busy lately.
They've been slow?
Very slow.
And when the season is really slow, very slow?
Weekend,
What do you do during the week?
I stay at home resting.
Nice, with the family?
I work hard on the weekends to cover the weekdays.
Exactly.
Exactly, just like right now, because right now we're working during the busy season, working the whole month straight, the whole season every day, so we can rest after Monday, even if it's just 3 or 4 days.
Of course.
Then it repeats on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Of course. Of course, of course. You guys plan ahead, right? Of course. That's good. Go ahead, Cecilio. Enough questions. Bring us 3 dozen oysters to share here. Wow. Look at this, Cecilio. You're amazing. Look, the day before yesterday, I went to Parguito and I told the guys there, brother, do you want me to give you some business advice? Sure, having a great hot sauce matters because oyster vendors usually just serve oysters with lemon, which is fine. But if you eat a dozen or 2, it gets repetitive. So with the hot sauce, is it an explosion of flavors? In fact, I have my brother Moya's hot sauce here at the mango cellar.
And Moya's from Moya, But those hot sauces are really spicy.
It's good, of course.
Those are spicy.
Exactly. No, it's good. I told him to buy it. Look, even Cecilio guarantees it. Look, let's see how this milder hot sauce is. In fact, I put a little drop here. Let's see how it is with the hot sauce. And guys, you can catch us over there. Does everyone here think you're watching? This isn't just for me. It's for everyone to share. Let's try it with the hot sauce. No, it's really good, really good. Honestly, it's a little milder, but no, it's good.
That's the point. It's mild, so people want to eat more.
Exactly, look.
But it's spicy. Put the food down.
No way, this guy is a businessman of the sea.
The idea is to enjoy the food with some spice.
Exactly.
Delicious. It's a dogfish empanada.
No, and you know what? Once I put hot sauce on it, inhaled hard, and it went right up. The spiciness made my throat swell up. I couldn't eat anymore, but this hot sauce is just right. Look, Cecilio, to finish up, tell me, when do you think was the golden age here in Margarita?
Well, that would be around the year 2000, more or less, I think, like 2000. When Belmo's party, Nyanya's party, Brahma, Polal. It was a time when a lot of people came. We didn't need vacations because of all the tourists we had here.
The entire year was peak season.
Because there were people here all year round. And when the high season came, there were even more people than usual. Italians, Germans, Dutch, Spaniards. All of Europe. They were in Venezuela, in Margarita, but there were more people. Nowadays, look at how we are. Empty when it should be better, with even more people, but now there are fewer people and I understand why.
If you could change one thing here on Margarita Island, what would it be? Or if you could improve something, what would it be?
What would I want to come back? The tourism from before, so that it would be beneficial for everyone, because now this is at rock bottom.
Is it safe to come to Margarita?
Cecilio, 100%. 100%, it's completely safe because there is security. We need more tourists and tourism to create more jobs for everyone.
Well,
join us in Margarita Paraíso and Universo to enjoy fresh oysters here in Margarita. Before, they used to sell... No, it's not different. Here they used to sell. During the day, they sold 4 buckets a day.
Wow.
4 buckets, but now it takes working hard on the beach until 5 p.m. just to sell one, and sometimes you don't sell any. Wow. If more tourists come, we could sell more, since the tourists we get now aren't any good. What about the Russians?
They don't buy oysters?
Yes, they do buy them, but just a dozen. Half a dozen. That's not tourism.
Of course.
Because I say that kind of tourism is public employees. Because of that agreement between Russia and Venezuela. They come with everything paid for. They don't come on their own. They come with everything paid. They arrive at the hotel, at the beach hotel. They stay there for a bit, an hour, 2 hours. But they don't spend any money. Because upstairs, they have everything for you. They have the drinks, they have the food, they have the desserts, they have everything.
Of course.
Everything is paid for there.
Well, let tourism come back like before, Cecilio.
God willing.
That's our wish. Thanks, brother.
My pleasure.
I'm here with Javier Cinematica. If you can find him on his social media, he's a guy who also creates content here in Margarita and, well, in different parts of Venezuela. Javi, what's life like in Margarita? Were you born here or did you move?
No, I was born here in Margarita. Well, I've spent my whole life here actually. I feel like Margarita is a paradise. And a lot of people have told me, why don't you leave? Make a life in another country. You have a future in what you do. And honestly, I keep betting on staying here in Margarita. Even though most of the time I work in Caracas, I don't leave Margarita.
And do you focus more on creating content, like as an influencer, or more from the audiovisual producer side? For other companies, other brands, and stuff like that?
I mostly focus on creating as an audiovisual producer. I've worked for several brands like PAN, Martin Polar, Santa Teresa, Atkar. I mean, a lot of brands nationwide.
Okay.
And that's how I make my living.
Well, of course.
But normally, it's always in Caracas.
Okay, was that what you were getting at? Do you feel that here in Margarita, as an audiovisual producer, there aren't as many opportunities to make a living purely from working on the island? Do you need to go to Caracas to be able to get jobs that help you support yourself here?
Exactly. Usually you have to go to Caracas a lot because in Margarita there aren't that many big companies. And well, the ones that are here, obviously they support you and you do get some work and all that. But if you want to have a better life, you always have to bet a little on Caracas too. And also make a name for yourself because that's the most important thing.
Of course, of course. Well, Javier became quite well known after last year's Barloventeo. If you don't know what Barloventeo is, you can go watch the previous video to understand a bit more about this celebration here on Margarita Island. And he took some super epic drone shots, which I'm going to show here. And I want to make it clear that they're from last year, 2024. But honestly, truly, they're spectacular. Javi, I have a couple more questions to finish up. What's the average cost of living on the island? I mean, how much does a person spend on groceries, on, I don't know, cell phone, internet, things like that, and maybe some extra expenses? And how much could a person spend on rent, for example, in Pampatar?
Hey, I think that varies a lot, but my partner and I, at least on groceries, spend almost $300 a month.
Okay, well,
Obviously, we buy good stuff and all that, and when we go out and everything, yeah, 100 maybe in a month with 800, yeah.
no worries.
But of course, if you're not someone who spends all their time partying or goes out every weekend, I think that should be enough for you.
Would you include rent in those 800 maybe? Well, obviously,
If you have rents in Margarita range from, I don't know, $200, $300, obviously, you have to add that. In my case, I have an apartment there, and well, I have my apartment, my car, and with 800, I'm super comfortable.
I think it's a very, very good cost. If you add about 200 or 300 for rent, you could live on about $1,000. Especially because many programmers, digital nomads, wrote to me on Instagram and specifically asked me about this case. How much does it cost? The island is a great place to go live, and I can tell you that the internet is super really fast. I mean, in the house where I'm staying, which is Arigao's place, it's pretty far from Pampatar, which is the city. There are 400 megabytes upload and download. It's good internet.
Really good internet, there's Tallinn, there's Wave, they're great, and honestly, they don't affect me at all. They're always super fast. Well, I think this is also an idea for digital nomads since the internet is really good. Look, here you can suddenly be lying at home doing nothing, and then you go to the beach. The beach is just 5 minutes away. I mean, there are a lot of good things about the island. Of course, it also has its bad things, but little by little, it has been improving. Well, and I think that in a few years, with everything that's being done here in Margarita, all the openings of many new places that are coming, I feel like more tourism is going to come.
And also more immersion and more immersion.
Which is what matters. But I think it has been improving little by little over these years.
I was going to ask you, what did you like most and least? But I think you already answered. Coming to the beach on a Monday at 3 p.m. I finish my work and I come to enjoy, look, this beautiful beach and the water. And of course, there are many things that need to be improved. There are also power outages, water outages, but there has been progress overall in recent years. And the idea is that this keeps getting better and that more people are encouraged not only to visit the island, but also to live in the Pearl of the Caribbean. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Brother. Travelers,
When discussing Margarita, while the beaches are beautiful, what really stands out is that the island has everything, not just its beaches. It has beaches, it has shopping malls, it has a lot of amazing restaurants, it has mountains if you want to go hiking or trekking. I mean, it has everything. But obviously, you can't compare the water to, Morrocoy, Los Roques, or La Tortuga. But I want to make a special mention of Margarita's water. I don't know if it's in the month of September, but I had already been told that all the months ending in bear, like September, October, November, are the best for sailing, the best for traveling in Venezuela. But at Playa del Agua, not only is the sea ultra calm, I mean, there are no waves, but look how crystal clear it is. You can see the bottom of the water. Look how clear the water is. It's incredible. So if you're wondering, look, is it really safe to go to Margarita? I can say with all the responsibility that this comment deserves, that Margarita Island is the safest place in all of Venezuela. And not only is it safe, but it also has super crystal clear beaches. But it has everything you need, whether you want to visit as a tourist or if you want to come live on the island. So go ahead and come. People have been asking a lot, especially in recent days. Is it safe to go to Venezuela? How is Margarita? What are the living costs? Is it safe to go to the island? And honestly, look. This is Margarita, this is Playa del Agua, this is a paradise, and this is ultra safe. So come and enjoy the jewel, the pearl of the Caribbean, because very few countries have places as paradisiacal as this. I mean, without tourist crowds, without people filling it up all year round. And honestly, just like Cecilio said earlier, it's also my dream that people who make a living from tourism can have income all year round. But for those who know how to take advantage of it, come before that happens, because eventually it will happen. And in the process, those of us who come frequently are going to enjoy this paradise. Look over there.
The tents here, just for us, just for us.
Travelers. Now I want to introduce you to Alejandro Venegas, as they would say here in Margarita, a seasoned guy.
Is that correct?
When did you move to the island, brother?
I'm from Cumana and have lived on the island for 6 years.
What motivated you to come live in Margarita?
Freedom? Margarita offers a freedom unmatched by any other part of Venezuela. Here you have the best of both worlds. You have the advantage of being an island and being a city. No, but you have the other part, being here 20 minutes away and you're in a paradise like this. Very few places in Venezuela can offer you that.
Yes, because it's true that the paradisiacal places, like I mentioned before, Morrocoy, Los Roques, La Tortuga, don't have infrastructure, commercial areas, good internet, and so on.
Here you have full internet wherever you go. All the places always have free internet with a very good connection, and access is very easy.
Look, Alejandro is a Venezuelan photographer, really talented, and he's also a traveler. But tell me, Ale, what do you mainly work in, or what are all the jobs you have?
Look, I started with photography many years ago. I've been a photographer for more than 10 years. And I like to show the work of the fishermen. I love to show the art they create, the ancestral art of fishing. Because people either underestimate or minimize the work they do. They think it's just casting a hook and that's it, or throwing a cast net, or casting a line. And they don't know how hard that work is. Getting up at 3 in the morning, and it's not like you just go and throw the net and catch a fish. No, they learned that because their father taught them, and their grandfather taught their father. I mean, it's an ancestral job that's very complicated. And when you manage not just to see it, but to observe it and look at the details, you realize, let's say, the art that's in it.
Yes. No, I totally agree with you. A couple of days ago, we were in Manila, and it was like a failed fishing trip. You could put it that way. Because it's not like, as he says, you throw the net and you're going to catch something. There are days when you throw the net and you don't catch anything. So it's a job that requires not only discipline and consistency, but also knowing how to read the situation. The timing of the seasons of the different fish that pass by the island, and
the knowledge of the entire environment. because they throw the net where there is a little bird flying. That little bird warns them. You see a bird and think, oh, how beautiful. But they see the bird and know that the bird is warning them that there is a school of fish there, and they go where those fish are. Normally people don't know this, so it's amazing, all of it, like the knowledge they have.
And besides the photography you do here on the island, Alex?
I'm currently working in corporate sales for an airline. We fly from Margarita to Los Roques and Canaima without passing through Maiquetía. So is it an advantage for, let's say, tourists or for the island's residents, since normally the island is a receiving island? It receives tourism, but from here there usually isn't an offer to other places, so we offer the possibility to go to Los Roques and Canaima from here without needing to go to, yes,
to Caracas.
Exactly. You have no idea how amazing it is to be in Los Roques, spend 2 or 3 days, and then come straight back home. Getting home the same day without going through Maiquetía, catching another flight, and then coming to Margarita. No, we do it directly.
No, and also many flights that, well, right now there aren't that many, but in the past that came directly internationally to Margarita Island. And well, those tourists, like you said, don't need to stop in Caracas to go to Canaima and Los Roques. So it could be a bet for the future for when international flights to the island become more frequent again. No.
Exactly. And in fact, I mean, it's going well, really well, because we offer departures from Porlamar and from Barcelona. So we cover or take care of all the offers for the entire East.
Exactly, you know? Yes, yes, yes.
Not just Margarita and Barcelona, because if you're in Ciudad Bolivar, in 2 or 3 hours, you're in Barcelona. And from there, you take a direct flight to Los Roques.
Exactly.
You don't need to go to Caracas.
Exactly.
That's brutal. That's exactly why it's brutal.
Well, brother, I want you to tell me roughly how much the cost of living is here in Margarita. Like, how much do you pay for rent, food, monthly groceries, and what other expenses might you have? I don't know, internet or whatever.
Look, here on the island, it depends on what you want to do. If you want to eat out every day, if you want to party every day, it depends on the expenses you want to have. A basic rent can go from 150 to 300, 400, depending on where you are.
Exactly.
I lived a year ago in front of the sea and I paid $300 and it was a very good apartment.
Okay.
You can spend, depending on how many people you're buying groceries for, $200 every week or every 15 days, and it works out really well. The internet here works very well, and you can pay, I don't know, around $30 a month, which also works and has a pretty good speed. It's not an internet service that you'll have problems with. At least with the company I have the service with, it has only failed me once in a year.
Of course.
So it's a joke that you call and they solve it right away. So I think the services here work very well. We had some issues with electricity and water before, but now they're working very well.
That's awesome. And the water generally, is it running water or is it from cisterns and desalination, etc.? No.
Usually the condos have a tank and they schedule the water supply exactly for the apartments. And in my case, I've never had any problems with water.
You have a tank as well?
We have a tank, including one in the apartment.
Of course.
Of course, it's not like I'll skip showering today just because there's no water. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen with the tank.
It reaches Cobra? Yes, of course.
That's not a problem here anymore.
It's just that, honestly, well, this water situation has been going on for decades in Venezuela. I mean, it's been many years already. So most of the apartments, especially beach apartments, but even I, who live in Caracas, have a water tank, of course. And, well, with the water tank, it's more than enough until the next supply comes. And not with this, because people might say, well, did you just get used to the bad things? No, it's not that we got used to it. It's that we adapted to the current situation.
The thing is, everyone has their own reality. I'm not going to compare my reality with yours or with someone else's. Maybe some people can't have a tank and it's harder for them. And that's not why I'm going to say, no, we're perfect. I don't know about this or that. I'm just talking about my reality. Exactly. My reality is like this. I don't have water problems. You know? Yeah.
Yeah, so...
It's valid too, totally.
Totally, bro. What do you like most about living in Margarita? And what do you like the least, or what would you change if you could about living in Margarita?
Look, what I like the most is the development here. Every day there's something to do. There's always an activity. There's always an event. There's always something going on. So in the world we live in, or let's say in the field where we work, we always know there's something going on. They're always inviting you to something, so that versatility of the island, the fact that we really live in this paradise, but there are events, there are all kinds of activities. I think that's amazing. People come to Margarita thinking it's just beaches, but we also have mountains. We have things that are amazing.
No, and the food options.
I mean, here in Margarita, you can have an oyster for, I don't know, $3, and you can also have a gourmet one at a restaurant, and that's fine. What I like the least, honestly, is the lack of punctuality, because those of us who live here, we're so laid back that it's like, I'll be there in 5 minutes, and it doesn't happen.
So
It's always like that's the only problem I would change. The lack of punctuality of people from Margarita, but you get used to it.
hey, from people from Margarita. So are you from Margarita?
I am,
Well-traveled.
if you visit the beach at 9 a.m.
Well, but I made it. At least that's what's important.
Thank you, brother. Look, and if you want, you can follow him on his social media, because Pana is awesome and shows Venezuela from its most beautiful side. I'll leave them on the screen for you, Lely Johnson.
Alex Jellinson,
Alejandro Venegas. Why? Alejandro Venegas?
because it's my middle name.
Okay, Alex Jellinson. Well, I'll leave it with you.
Thank you, Miguel.
I know you're a doctor living on Margarita Island, but were you born here?
No, I was born and raised in Comana. I've lived on the island for 6 years.
So you're also a newcomer?
Well, I'm a newcomer.
What brought you to the island, Miguel?
Look, I lived on the island around 2018. I spent my last year here, and since then I've been in love with the island. I moved here to do my internship, and after I finished it, I stayed here.
And Miguel, tell me something. What did you specialize in, or are you a doctor? In which specific area? Well,
My specialty is in general surgery, okay?
coloproctology?
And that's the degree I have. That's my specialty.
Miguel, what do you like most about living on the island?
Look, what I like most about the island is that life here is different.
Here, everything has a different perspective.
I think life here on the island might sound cliche, but it's more relaxed. Something I always say is that here, life doesn't just pass by. Here, you float. So you have to let yourself go, know how to float, and navigate with it.
You know what? One of the things I wonder about, especially in your profession being a doctor, because I've seen that many people I've interviewed either make a living from content creation, which they can practically do anywhere, or they're islanders like Oscar from the Moya brothers, or like Cecilio, who used to sell oysters and so on. But do you feel that as a doctor in your specialty, you have enough work here on the island? Do you have a future on the island? For doctors about to graduate who watch this video and want to live on the island, would you recommend they come?
Look, I think there are job opportunities just like everywhere else. I truly believe that the sun always shines for everyone. But certainly in terms of professional and academic growth, because of the limitations of what they can offer to professionals, health and what would be the actual preparation to reach higher levels would have to be outside the island. But once you have achieved these means, so to speak, you can live here, you can settle here. In fact, my medium and we could say long-term plan is to leave the island, to continue with my professional growth and my specialization, and to come back. Because as I told you, I am completely in love with the island and I plan to come back here.
How beautiful and how nice, really, that people go specialize, learn more, and bring that knowledge back to the island so that, well, God forbid, if a patient ever needs your expertise, and they have it here, they don't have to fly to the mainland to get care.
Of course, in the end, what we want is to help each other, to support everyone on the island, the patients, and, well, everyone in between, and that's what we want.
Miguel, what would you change, or what don't you like, or what would you improve if you could do it about life on the island?
What would I improve? I think we're already focused on, I think on the island we understood that we can live on tourism. I mean, we can in general, because there's even something called medical tourism.
I mean,
People come here for medical procedures. But when it comes to the quality of care for the users, for the tourists, in this case, I think we are on the right track when it comes to treating a client or a tourist well. I think that can be improved. There's always room for improvement, but I think we're already on the right path toward that, yes.
I mean, maybe we need a little more tourism education.
A bit more tourism education, a bit more of that friendlier, more courteous treatment, so to speak. We're very Margariteños, muñeros.
Exactly.
It's something you can't take away from the people who live here, but I do think we could improve a bit, though we're on the right track.
And Miguel, now talking a little bit about the cost of living, which is one of the questions we got the most on Instagram. About how much does it cost for you to live on the island? Maybe rent, groceries, I don't know what other expenses there might be, cell phone, internet, because we know that basic services are very affordable. But yes, in these things, maybe rent, food.
Look, I think on rent and food, not exactly limited, but a bit tight.
Exactly.
I think honestly, to live comfortably, to live relaxed, with some of your own preferences, so to speak. We're talking about the amount, right?
Yes, an amount. Look,
I think that roughly around is about $800 to $1,000 a month. Do you live relaxed?
Obviously.
From then on, everything I can spend on investment, on saving, on enjoyment, so to speak,
is extra.
You know, it's extra, but with that you live very, very, very relaxed.
Look, there are already several people here who agree on that amount, so you can use it as a good reference. Between $800 and $1,000, especially if you come with a digital job already, or, you already know that you need between $800 and $1,000 to live comfortably. Everything else you can save, invest, or treat yourself to some extras here on the island.
Thanks so much, Miguel, brother.
Those who watched our last video talking about what life is like in Margarita a couple of years ago might remember Chris Uzcategui. This brother is also a seasoned traveler, but he's an international one because even though he's Venezuelan, he lived for a few years in Los Angeles. Is that right?
Yes.
And then he came to the island. And Chris, this time I want to ask you some questions similar to the ones I asked you back then, but also some different ones. First of all, how have you felt, or how has your life been on the island in the last 3 years? What do you feel has changed? It's been 2 years since our first interview, when I learned about life on Margarita Island.
Well, when you interviewed me that time, we had almost just arrived. We already loved it. I mean, the lifestyle we switched to after living abroad, then moving to the island, everything is much calmer, everything is slower. I mean, the change from then to now has been a huge improvement on the island. Not only in terms of tourism, which has increased little by little, but also in business, shops, roads, public streets. I mean, it has developed little by little, but it has grown a lot, honestly.
Do you feel that there has been a bit more infrastructure, not only in the private sector, but also public on the island?
Exactly, yes. Not only in the private sector, but also public. I mean, the repair of many roads, which, when I arrived, were hard to access. Now we have one. I mean, at least the potholes have been
covered up and, well,
some things have been fixed, some lighting issues.
Exactly.
And let's see, what else? Well, with the commercial aspect has been a very big change. When we arrived, there were very few options, and as time has passed, we even tend to look for healthier options. And now they've even opened healthy restaurants. There have been more options in supermarkets. For example, La Pela, which is a very well-known shopping center here in Margarita, opened its second phase. That's why it's an international shopping center with many stores and commerce. So, well, all of that which contributes to the labor and economic side of the island has been a very, very big change.
For those who didn't see that first video, Chris is a digital nomad. Basically, he sells print-on-demand products on different platforms on the internet. But recently he launched a new project which I think is brilliant. I mean, really super mega genius. But I want to let you tell us a little bit about the gem. Run Club, yes.
Well, that's really crazy. For the last 5 months, we've launched a social run club, which has become a movement. What we wanted to do was create a club where we could meet on Sundays to run and then have brunch, drink coffee, talk, and network. Well, it went from being a small run club to becoming a huge movement across the whole country.
Here in Venezuela, where we managed to visit more than 10 cities and bring together over 100,000 people in all those cities.
And well, that's it, the highlight. Nowadays, well, it's becoming an inspirational and motivational movement, where what we're looking for is for people to get moving, do sports, and connect with others through culture, coffee, brunch, and, well, running.
I thought it was incredible because I had the opportunity to attend the last race, like from this first phase of La Perla in Caracas. And the cool thing is that after the race, we got up on a stage, started dancing, having fun and everything. Honestly, it was really, really wholesome. It was a place where runners encouraged each other to keep participating. Some people just wanted their medal and were done after that. But here you have a space like an hour or two after the race to have fun, to enjoy yourself. Well, more or less.
Yeah, more or less. I mean, what we achieved through this movement was that a lot of people who were kind of afraid to run or afraid of the distance, because they saw, for example, in different cities, clubs, and people running, and they would say, well, that's very hard. But when La Perla came to the city and motivated those people to do it, because about 70% or 80% of our participants were people who were doing sports for the first time. So what impact does that leave? We would leave that city and those people kept running because they would say, wow, I was able to run 5 kilometers, and not only did I run 5 kilometers, I also had a really, really cool party.
With such a great vibe for 2 hours that turned into another 5 kilometers.
Exactly.
That was more or less how it went.
Bro, and do you see yourself living here in Margarita Island in the future? Because I understand that you're basically a digital nomad. You can be wherever you want. Did you come from Los Angeles more out of a love for the island than, I don't know, the cost of living over there? Although maybe that also influenced you in one way or another, but do you see yourself here in the future?
Totally.
If you ask me right now, it's like, I mean, this is my home. One thing that happens to me every time I travel is that after 15 days I already want to come back. It's my backyard. From the moment I arrive at the airport, it's like, these are my people, this is my backyard, this is my home. That fresh, warm breeze from the island already feels like it's welcoming me. I have my people, my community, it's like nothing else. I really feel at home, and I don't think I would trade that for anything right now.
And do you think the island is a good place for digital nomads to come? Or do they still have a long way to go, or just a little to be ready to welcome them? Maybe, I don't know, that wave of travelers who work online, like in Bali or Portugal, or in different destinations that are trendy right now.
Well, this one doesn't have much left to go.
I mean,
we have a lot of accommodation options, that's important. We have good internet. The electricity and water situation is manageable, at least for residences, for this type of people. And I think what we lack the most here are proper co-working spaces where people who don't want to work from home, which is what happens to us, can go. I mean, at least for me, I love working outside my house, like in a co-working space or a cafe. We need more options like that, but other than that, I think yes. We're almost ready to welcome digital nomads, but we're still missing a little bit. We also need better airline connections and other things. We're welcoming everyone.
Thank you very much, brother, for those questions, and I hope to interview you again in 2 years. And that you say, look, all the nomads, come on over, because we're super ready, super prepared to follow this awesome guy and his projects. Check out Chris Uzcategui or La Perla Ron Club. Right, La Perla Ron Club, really, I'm a fan of your projects, brother, and I hope things keep going amazingly for you.
Thank you so much, brother.
And if you guys love coffee as much as I do, on the same La Perla Ron Club page, you can order this artisanal product, medium roast. It's amazing. Chris gave us one when we did the race, and honestly, it was delicious.
Here's another one. How cute. You could order it.
And to end such a beautiful day, we came to Juan Griego. Especially on the way up to Fortin de la Galera to see this magical sunset. Look how beautiful it is, how the sun is setting. But I'm going to take out the big camera, set up the tripod, and make you a delightful time lapse, because I know you'll be just as sad as I am if we can't do a time lapse. Drone shots are currently completely prohibited in Venezuela. And well, I have to work some magic to satisfy that artistic side or that little pleasure I get from seeing really cinematic shots in the videos. So enjoy this sunset in 3, 2, 1. And if you're wondering what I used to make that video, well, it was with this Sony Alpha 7 S3 and a 70-200mm lens and a 2x converter to double the focal length. No. What a sunset show the Bay of Juan Griego just gave us. And so, travelers, as night falls and we finish enjoying the afterglow, those spectacular colors that appear in the clouds after the sunset, I'm going to end this video. Before we continue, please subscribe. If you're new or watching on television and not subscribed, grab your remote and hit the button. And leave a comment down below if you have another question. Everyone, or well, almost everyone I interviewed are acquaintances or friends, so I'll gladly pass your questions along to them to get you an answer. To clear up your doubts, let me know down below what intrigues you. What else would you like to know about Margarita Island? And keep watching because this isn't the last video, since in the next one we're going to find out the prices of properties here on the island. So turn on notifications, hit the little bell so you don't miss out. The last time we came to the island, we posted a bunch of apartments and literally in 1 or 2 weeks, all the ones we posted were sold. So keep watching and turn on notifications so YouTube lets you know as soon as we upload them.